I really do believe at this point that these Hollywood executives, producers, creators, whatever, have no business savvy. They just don't. They keep going with this same story we've seen so many times at this point. Well, I have. If I know something's going a certain way, I'm out. But if I was in their shoes, I wouldn't be doing what you would call the norm at this point. I wouldn't be doing this shit where they just use these characters as puppets in some political game. But they just can't seem to read the room. They just don't get it. Like with this one, Todd McFarlane's Spawn film embraces Hollywood wokeness. They keep doing. I don't know what they're not understanding. It's like nobody wants this. Nobody asked for it. Nobody wants it. I don't know why it's so hard to get that message through to them. My guess is they're just a bunch of followers. That's my only guess, really. They see other people doing it and go, well, that's what the people want. It's like, no, they don't. McFarlane spoke to CBR about the upcoming film where he made it crystal clear the film is embracing Hollywood's race politics. CBR asked the creator, last month it was announced Brian Tucker is going to take a crack at the movie script. What about his vision for the project impressed you to bring him on board? McFarlane answered, well, it wasn't just my decision. There's a handful of other people working on it that we haven't announced yet. One of the people working on it that is going to be a big name when we finally get to announce it. I think he said he went through close to 100 scripts by as many people as he could. The creator then revealed one of the key things he was looking for was a non-white writer, so that's why they went through loads of scripts. They couldn't just pick the best one. They had to go, what colour is he? Unbelievable. He said, we were looking ideally for someone that could bring a voice to the character on two levels. I'm just a white Canadian kid. I haven't lived the life of a man in America, of someone with dark skin. Here we go with a monolithic talk. We thought it was important to get the perspective of somebody who has. Someone with that perspective coming in and adding a slightly different bent to what you and I as comic book readers already know as to what Spawn is about. So it seems to me all you're doing is you're just going to let someone pervert it, really. McFarlane then noted that he doesn't want the film to tell Spawn's comic book origin. I didn't want to do the comic book origin story from issues 1 to 3 in the movie. We were looking for people, without even telling them that, to give something a little bit different. Which, that's all good and fine. You don't need, no one's, I don't think anyone's asking, it needs to be that sort of thing. He continued, unfortunately, 80 to 90% of them, according to the other person involved who was interviewing most of them, were falling into the trap of retelling the comic book story in the movie. The Spawn creator then went on to detail that he wants this new film to be relevant today, specifically in terms of its social content. McFarlane explained, we saw that movie, the movie that came out 20 plus years ago from New Line. So what haven't we seen that would be interesting and relevant today, both in terms of filmmaking and social content? Again, we're still stuck in this age where they don't realise that they're supposed to be providing entertainment, not fucking social content. And it's unbelievable that they really think this shit's relevant. That's relevant today. This is what the kids want. This is what the people want. Well, it's not. Most people, the majority of people, don't even react to stuff like this. They don't see the social content in it. And then all the other, nobody else wants it. You're pandering to a non-existent audience. That's what you're doing. You believe that, oh, if we put social content in it, that's going to bring in this big crowd. It's not going to fucking happen. But it's so amazing to me that everything that comes out, it's just constant bad news. This is all the fuck they've got. We've seen it already. How do they not? We've already seen this a million fucking times in the past 10 years. Shit with social content. That's not relevant today. What I don't know. I really don't understand the people that do want this. We need social content in there. Do you not want to be entertained? I mean, see if you want social. You might as well just go back to fucking school, to be honest. I'll just go back to school if you're going to teach me about social stuff. It's just go back to school. Do they not realise we come to be entertained? But instead they'd rather have it just an agenda-driven lot of bollocks. But they just can't read the room. They just don't get it. It's like no one wants it, or no one even asked for it. It's always a social... Well, someone's obviously told you that, and you've been a bit of a fucking idiot. Going, oh yeah, that's what the kids want. To be honest, see if I was working at these, I'd fire the marketing teams anyway, because they're shit at marketing. That's why we're in this mess. Because they market it a certain way, and then every other fucking place thinks, oh yeah, that's what we should be doing. What's funny about McFarlane's comments here is that he shoots down the idea of doing Spawn's origin for this upcoming film because it's already been done. But in the next sentence, he's calling for a movie that will be relevant today, both in terms of filmmaking and social content. Not sure if Todd realises this, but that's been done to the umpteenth time as well. Exactly like what I said, it's already been done. But you're saying you don't want to do what's been done, and then you're going, but we want to have social content in it. Well, that's been done. That's been done too many times. We've already seen it, and movie-going audiences are not interested in seeing more. Just look at Terminator, Dark Fate, and Charlie's Angels, or any other films and TV shows that embrace woke culture. Batwoman is your prime example. That's like almost under 300,000 people watching it. And most people are watching it to take the piss out of it. But yeah, they're just so happy to lose money. They're so happy to do it. It's like you're being taken for a fucking ride. People are telling you this is what people want, and it just ain't the case. Like I said, a lot of people don't even realise that that's what you're doing. A lot of people don't even realise it. So it's a complete waste of time. But they always forget the business that they're in. Which is, we don't go and see a film to be educated. Movie-going audiences do not want to see films that have social content that is relevant today. We want messages that are timeless. If you choose relevant today over timeless, no one remembers your movie the second they are going out of the theatres. In contrast, timeless messages are still with us. People are still talking about Lord of the Rings and the original Star Wars films. People are still talking about Die Hard, The Sound of Music, Gone with the Wind, and The Wizard of Oz. And that's the thing, really. All these, like, people, like, oh, Shang-Chi's amazing. You'll forget that in a few days. Is anyone going to go back and watch Shang-Chi? I don't think so, to be honest. There's just a pile of shite coming out now that no one's going to give a second watch. When you want to put social content, it's not going to stand up on its own. It's not going to stand the test of time. Like the Lord of the Rings and all that. But they seem to want to just make a quick buck, and that's it. They don't want the film to be a great film that people will be watching in 20 years, in 50 years. I mean, you could probably list so many films that you still watch to this day that came out almost 50 years ago. You still watch it. So, yes. So he's saying relevant today. So you're not going to be relevant tomorrow. That's really what it is. If you're trying to be relevant today, you're not going to be relevant in 50 years. You've just wasted your shit. You've just wasted your creativity on something that's just going to die, like, after it's been out of the pictures. McFarlane's comments come as Image Comics announced the recently released Gunslinger Spawn 1 became the biggest launch of a new superhero monthly title in the comic industry in the past 25 years, with the first printing of 393,000 copies. Image specifically notes that the first issue sales of Gunslinger Spawn beat Marvel's Spider-Gwen that launched in 2015. According to Comicron, Spider-Gwen shipped 254,000 copies when its first issue debuted in February 2015. McFarlane isn't embracing topics that would be relevant today in terms of social content. He's literally breaking records with a character from the Old West. Here's the official description for the first issue. Introducing the launch of the second new monthly title spinning out of the Spawn universe, with one of the most popular characters in the entire Spawn mythology. This book contains 3 separate gunslinger stories, each taking a look at his journey through time, from the wild, wild west to the 21st century. Will his 200-year-old past come back to haunt him as he navigates the strange world of 2021? Get ready for the past and present to collide in this new ongoing title. So if you're doing this, if you're doing actual entertainment in your comic book, why does it need to change for a film? Why all of a sudden do you need social content? I really think they're just tricked into it. Or they just see a big check and they're like, yeah, fuck it, do what you want. But they really, to me, it just seems like they have no business savvy whatsoever. It's like, why would any sane person want social content in anything? Nobody wants it, but they're just giving it to you because you should like it, you bigot. You're a bigot if you don't like it. That's pretty much how they're going to get you to go and see it. But they think they're being relevant. This is the whole modern audience. There's no such thing as a modern audience. The audience wants what the audience still wants. There's no such thing as a the modern audience. That's an audience that doesn't exist. So this just looks like another big waste of time. There's no point even fucking going to see it, even caring about it. If people are sitting talking about shit like this, it's like, I'm not interested. You've lost me already. Because I don't want to go to a film and get re-educated, as what they would call it. But they don't seem to want to change. If they want to keep doing this and failing, it's not my problem. It's not my problem at the end of the day. They should be able to. They're grown adults. They should be able to read the room and be able to tell what people want. Instead, they get tricked into thinking, oh, well, the people want social content. We want to talk about race and we want to talk about whatever the fucking case may be. All of it's a lot of bollocks and it doesn't really need to be an entertainment, especially when it's been done already. We've seen stories like this. We don't need to see anymore. It's done. But I think that's all I got to say on that anyway. So if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.